And good evening. We are coming on the air with breaking news. President Trump has just announced that Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a peace plan that eventually could end the war in Gaza. The president, writing on Truth Social, quote, Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon. And Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. This agreement comes after negotiators from Hamas, Israel, and the U.S. held indirect peace talks in Egypt this week. Just yesterday, Israel marked 2 years since the deadly October 7th attack that sparked the war. NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel joins us now live from Jerusalem tonight. Richard, these are key developments that have happened so far in these peace negotiations. This handover of hostages is very complicated. Walk our viewers through what we think will happen. And again, this is all very fluid.
So it is very fluid. It is developing very quickly. Negotiations have been happening in Egypt all day long, and we've been getting positive reports. And then just a few hours ago, there was that moment in the White House when Trump was interrupted. He was handed a note saying that he needed to approve a Truth Social post so that he could announce a deal. And then you just read that post, and it seems that Israel and Hamas have now agreed to implement a plan that they had already agreed in principle to, but now they have agreed to carry it out. And the first phase will see Hamas releasing all of the hostages it is still holding, 20 living hostages. Hamas has said that it will take a little bit more time to recover the remains of the other hostages who perished while in captivity. But this is a critical development. If Hamas does go ahead and carry this out, and there are all indications at this stage that they will do this quite soon, it will create momentum. Also part of this deal, as you just mentioned, as Hamas releases these hostages, the 20 living hostages who are in terrible condition. They've been held in Gaza for 2 years now, that Israeli troops will pull back out of populated areas, pull back to agreed lines, agreed upon in these negotiations that are still ongoing. That creates momentum. And then the idea would be to move to the next phase, phase 2, phase 3, about when you're talking about the reconstruction of Gaza, the future of Hamas, and the future governance of the Gaza Strip. But these are major developments, and it could happen quite quickly, Tom. Once they've agreed, then you just need to work out the logistics, how to carry out a handover. It means we could see this happen and hostages actually coming home over the next couple of days.
Richard, we have been reporting that when this first peace plan, these talks started, there was some confusion, right? Because there are some hostages obviously held by Hamas. There are other hostages that are held by other rebel groups aligned with Hamas. Communication within Gaza has been largely destroyed. Is it clear? It might still be unclear at this point if everyone is, quote unquote, on the same page at this hour, because one of the peace plan points, as you had mentioned here, was sort of a 72-hour timeline.
So the timelines have been flexible, and it does appear that the issue of custody of the hostages has been resolved. We will know when the hostages come out, exactly what kind of condition they're in. There is an expectation that there will be 20 living male hostages coming out, either all in one group or coming out all on the same day. That we don't know. The hostages are not being held together, it does not seem. So there are moves underway right now to collect the hostages, bring them to a point where they can be handed over to the Israelis. We've spoken to hostages just over the last several days who were freed, and they talked about how they were held deep in tunnels, sometimes 100 feet underground, with another hostage or two. And each time there has been a hostage release, the Red Cross has been involved. It has usually taken Hamas a day or two to get them into a safe collection location. Israel stops its attacks and the handovers take place, and then the hostages are immediately flown to Israel, greeted by soldiers to receive medical training, and they're greeted by usually one or two family members, intimate family members. to receive them. We don't know exactly when this is going to play out, but the hostage families and all of their advocates stress that it needs to happen quickly, because after 2 years, they are malnourished, they are in terrible condition, and each day matters.
Talking about the hostages there, then we also know 1,200 Israelis killed in the initial terror attack 2 years ago. By some estimates, 67,000 people of Gaza killed in this war. Gaza, as you've been reporting, Richard, and our team there, nearly wiped off the map completely over these 2 years. Starvation, reports of starvation in Gaza as well. Talk to us about the conditions right now there.
So the conditions in Gaza are horrific. It looks like a moonscape. Most of the population has been driven from their homes. People have been moving from place to place, living in tents. There are parts of Gaza that have officially been declared famine areas. According to local medical officials, more than 67,000 people have been killed by Israeli strikes over the last 2 years. Half of them, those officials say, women and children. And prominent medical officials say the death toll is likely higher than that, and that more bodies will be found once construction crews are able to get in.
It's an important point. Okay, Richard, stand by for us. I want to go to the White House right now. NBC senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us live. Gabe, what do we know? The president is hinting he may go to the region. He may go to Egypt or somewhere, possibly Israel, this week or this weekend?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Look, it was a dramatic day of the White House, as you were discussing with Richard. The president, more than an hour into his event this afternoon, was interrupted by Secretary Rubio and President Trump also saying that he planned to go to the Middle East some point this weekend, leaving perhaps as early as Saturday and perhaps getting there Sunday. Unclear exactly where, but he did suggest that Egypt was a possibility. Now, Tom, this is extremely important for the White House. They have been looking forward to this day for quite some time. And you mentioned in that note that you were speaking with Richard, where Secretary Rubio passed him, it was very important for President Trump to announce this deal first, and he wanted to have it confirmed so that he could post it on social media. Within the past few moments, we have gotten a statement from the Qataris, which acted as mediators here, confirming the deal and saying that the details will be announced soon. Now, Tom, this comes just days after President Trump hosted Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu here at the White House, where they unveiled that 20-point plan. Again, this agreement, according to the president, is just the first phase of this deal. So we're going to be pressing White House officials to see exactly what the details are here, and over the next couple of days, when the president will exactly make his way to the Middle East, Tom.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez for us, reporting on these breaking developments. Again, President Trump's peace plan for Gaza, for Israel, it seems has been accepted. The president announcing this on Truth Social, saying both Israel and the Palestinians have, including Hamas, have come to an agreement on the initial phase of this peace plan, that all of the hostages inside Gaza will be released. Again, the timing of all this is very, very fluid. We're going to continue to cover this both live in Israel and also, of course, from the White House. That concludes this NBC News special report right now. You know we're going to have much more ahead on our streaming network, NBC News Now, and online at NBCnews.com with up-to-the-minute updates throughout the night. I'm Tom Yamas reporting live from New York City tonight. We thank you so much for watching. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.